Buyala, we are just dumping there without any serious management of the facility. Yet we wanted to have it developed as a modern recycling facility, modern plant, but the funds are not there. So as of now, it would appear we are creating another disaster at Buyala, on that 230-acre land. And that is the biggest problem we are grappling with right now. And of course, I intend to also speak to issues related to the PPP arrangement, where we also have some contradictions here and there.
Okay, we will listen to that. You will notice that this land.
Thank you, Chairperson. In the process of procuring land, KCCA did due diligence. We wrote to the custodian of land, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. We requested for boundary opening. The reports we have on record are 2 opening the boundary of that land, and they all point to ownership by Lukwago. By Lukwago, the vendor who sold us. Yes.
Is it David Lukwago Derek?
I know at least the name Lukwago. We have not transferred the land in the names of KCCA simply because we agreed on a payment plan of 12 months and an initial payment of 15% of the total sum.
How much did you buy the land?
The land was bought at 16.1 billion.
How much have you paid so far?
We have so far paid 2.34.
Okay.
Which we have paid only 15%, and the agreement was when we pay 15%, we only make use of 50 acres as we process payment for the next 12 months. And that accounts for the reason why we have not gone full blast into utilization of the whole piece.
Maybe you have not generated enough waste to utilize the entire piece.
Chair, that piece is not going to be covered by waste. As alluded to by my Lord Mayor, we are going to have a waste management facility, waste management and resource recovery facility at that site. Okay. We are not going to dump traditional.
Have you been concerned that it's caveated and you are due to make another payment?
The letter came in last week, and as usual, when we get such letters, we write to the concerned ministries to get the background information, then we engage the party.
I thought you would have obtained the background information before.
As I said, Chair, at the time of procurement, we obtained the background information. All people who contested the land, including NFA, we wrote to them to provide proof of ownership. We even wrote to the Solicitor General, who also wrote to them. All those who queried that land at the time of procurement, we wrote to them. There was even a court case which was going on that particular land. We waited until it was determined, then we concluded. So this one came in last week, and we are going to look at it.
Okay.
Yes.
Much of it comes from outside the city. And the road mayor knows that the act itself was introduced to attract attention and get corresponding resources for a special purpose. What does the road mayor say about this management of Chitez and other areas in view that now the city is managed under central government and is given a priority in terms of resources? Because, Mr. Chairman, we don't want to think that the managers of Kampala State Authority have failed something when the resources are not given. So I want the road mayor to tell us what effort he has made to make sure that at least the whole public understands that it's
through you, I was seeking, first of all, to look at the relevant searches and due diligence reports Cosase and Erias have done. And I think, Edie, let's have them by close of business today.
They will be provided.
Thank you. Honorable.
About the land that is contested. And the question is, really, was there due diligence? And I wanted the
She has answered
I wanted
that
the
in the
director
affirmative.
legal. I wanted the information from director legal,
Yes.
the honorable chair, that if all this was done, then there would be now no caveat put.
No, that it doesn't follow. It does not necessarily follow. Supposing the caveat is simply a champtuous bystander.
After the purchase. And
No, you want to know the date. The
Yes.
date of the caveat, no, it was after. The caveat was lodged in June, on 5th June 2025, while Mr. Lukwago Alidde Matereke was registered on the 19th day of December 2023. So it was lodged a year and a half later. Yes, but what we can do, Madam Edie, you, in addition to those documents, you send us your purchase agreement, your sale agreement, because we will be able to know when you bought and the dates.
Yeah, Chair, I wanted
Chair?
to concur with you that we need these or the sale agreements, because when you calculate here the 230 acres acquired at 16 billion, meaning each acre they bought it at almost 70 million. We need to know the basis of this. So meaning we need to see these purchase agreements and assessment report over this land. Thank you.
Finance to be able to provide the required resources. We have also had interactions with the Office of the Prime Minister on the dire need we are in for equipment. In the meantime, we are not saying that we are not maintaining the site.
Would you want to share with us those communications?
Yes, I can.
Because if you read the report we last made here, which was adopted by Parliament in 2 resolutions, as the Lord Mayor said, we observed that one of the glaring inadequacies on the part of KCCA management is communicating with the different sections within the authority. A letter or a memo written to the ED by Dr. Kero, the Director of Health and Environment then, was not shared with the authority. Our interpretation of the law, and when we are appropriating money to the authority, is that we do not give money to technical staff. We give money to the authority, and the authority is defined basically as the Lord Mayor and then the other political organs which you serve. But when it comes to your communications, you omit them. The political follow-up therefore fails, the chain breaks there. Listen to our recommendation, observation in the previous meeting. Of course, I'm not oblivious of the fact that you came in much later. There are lapses and a consistent breakdown in communication within the authority's technical wing, which would never share reports with the authority, with the elected leadership, which constitutes the authority under the KCCA Act. Information from the technical team goes out to the central government without the knowledge of both the Lord Mayor, who presides over the authority. At some point, the Minister of Kampala, Capital City, and Metropolitan Affairs informed the committee that
We have frequent interaction with my political leadership, the executive committee on a weekly basis, unless there is something important which has made us fail. And all the funding gaps I'm talking about, the trips we made to the Ministry of Finance, my political leadership is aware, and they know what we went to negotiate for, from equipment, money for wage, increment in capitation grant, all those funding gaps. They are aware, and when we came back with whatever we were able to collect, they were informed.
Mr. Chairman, some clarification on equipment. Mr. Chairman.
Chair, on procurement of land, I have already explained how far we have gone, and efforts are underway to mobilize whoever is going to invest in the waste management and resource recovery facility in Buyala. We received 52 unsolicited bids, which we are processing at the moment. The Ministry of Finance is studying them to look at their economic viability in as far as this country is concerned. And when we get that report, we will proceed with the procurement.
Lord Mayor.
On the question of the equipment and issues we are grappling with, and this is where I wanted to interest the committee in some of these issues to see how they can be adequately addressed. Chair, our budget currently for maintenance, previously of maintenance of Chites, because right now it should be maintenance of Buyal, is 3.1 billion.
3.1 billion?
Yes, Chair.
We are listening.
For record purposes, if I can furnish you with the breakdown, Chair, I have the documentation here, and we have processed some copies for members. We see how interventions can be made. The Auditor General talks of hiring the equipment at 1.5, it's just one page document, Chair.
I now have people who read these things related to waste management. People who can read them better, like Honorable Kayondo. And Mulima Mayuni, because he is also the custodian of the garbage you left in Dundu. You never dumped there?
No, no.
Okay.
Chair, if you could look at that document.
Yes.
It's the breakdown for the expenditure.
Did you say 3.1?
Yes, I said the 3.1.
But what I see is 4.189.
That was explained, Chair, that there was that money which was always being rolled over, 1 billion.
Oh.
Yeah. Which was never remitted to us, but they kept on rolling it over. So the actual amount is 3.1 billion. So we have always had issues with this. And you see, Chair, the biggest challenge we have now is that we are just hiring equipment. And the government has not provided us with the funds to purchase our own equipment. And the hire is quite exorbitant. It is high. You can see, Chair.
I think this is where Honorable Kwizera's question would come into play. Where he would say, maybe I would modify it in Rufumbira English. How much do you need to buy equipment? And if we got this 3.1, in 5 years we would have reached the same amount for purchasing our own equipment. Do you have a budget?
Yes, Chair, we have interrogated that matter internally, and the ED and her team have furnished us with information to explain the cost of hiring vis-a-vis purchase, of the cost of purchasing. And I have the figures here, Chair.
Give us the figures. Let's have the figures on our record and in our ears.
And I thought this would be important that the ED here gives you this information, Chair. It's vital.
No, it's okay. You can assign to anybody.
Yes, I'll give this information to ED. The cost of...
Executive Director, what is the cost of hire vis-a-vis purchase?
A chairperson, at the site where we manage waste flow, we use a number of machinery. For instance, we require a chain bulldozer with low ground pressure, hydraulic chain excavator. We require a land compactor, a water bowser because of the dust which comes out, and then a chain bulldozer. If we are to hire, for hiring these machines, we would require 3.715,362,000, 3.7 in summary. Yes, per annum for hire. Now, considering the fact that purchase is a one-off, if we are to purchase, we would require 4.5 billion shillings to purchase, the equipment I've talked about.
So, Chair, okay.
I think, colleagues, you need to understand this. That 7 billion to hire. But we need 4.5 billion to buy the entire set of what they need. You're saying no? Honorable Mzale, you know something about garbage?
No, about equipment. Thank you, Chair. But this is to do with engineering. So I think the engineer may be...
I will not allow you to go there. Because I will not allow you to use my chair where you're seated to issue a vote of no confidence.
No, Chair.
In the ED.
No, on behalf of the ED.
No, the ED is here. She has a team. It is her to look into her people where she needs help. You cannot identify that help.
Okay.
You are ruled out of order.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, well, I'm trying to look at the rates here. Number one would be who is the service provider for these equipment?
Okay, that's a good question. ED will answer it. Next question.
The next question, of course, looking at the rates here, they're almost ×2 the market rates.
Which rates are you talking about? You mean here?
Yes.
Why? What makes you think they are ×2?
Mr. Chairman, the biggest provider of machinery in this town is Mantrack and Fulham. And an excavator with the taxes inclusive, the maximum will be 1.4. Without taxes, they will give you at 1 million. That's per day, dry rate.
You mean the biggest service provider of this machinery for hire or sale?
Both. Mantrack does.
Mantrack hires also?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other one would be Fulcrum.
What happens if they put up the advert and Mantrack doesn't respond? Thinking aloud.
Mr. Chairman.
Especially given now that we do not have. Yes, now that we do not have the. Yes, Honorable Kayondo. I did not want. Are you the ED will clarify?
Mr. Chairman, I was looking at all these equipments listed in here. The bulldozer is equal the same. It carries the same rate as an excavator. Water bowser Of course, they vary basing on the size, but equally this rate is extremely high. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, unless KCCA is not interested in owning equipment, but maybe the director engineering is doing a disservice to the institution. Otherwise, they would easily acquire equipment on lease without even paying cash.
I was going to ask the ED as she comes in to clarify after on hire purchase. What would stop you from buying equipment on the same terms, especially where you already have 3.1 billion that you can use in 1 year? I thought if you bought equipment on terms that we can pay you in 3 years, the same money you're using to hire, you would use it to buy and find it actually cheaper. Kayondo?
Chair, an excavator at 2.5 and you call that higher? No. Can you break down the hiring we are talking of here? Tell us the fuel, tell us the repairs. Is it included on this? Because if it is included on this, then you are reducing the cost of hire. If you are talking of the fuel, if you are talking of the repairs, then you are reducing the cost of hire. If you are talking of the lorry that delivers them to the site, so please be specific here. Is this 2.5?
I think your question is legitimate,
Please.
but the packaging.
No, I want to package it that way because I see she's not giving us.
You represent some island.
She's giving us a wrong impression. Because, no.
Chair, I ask for a clarification.
Okay,
No, I asked for clarification.
before the Honorable Mwada comes in, let's hear the ED.
No, Chair, I'm finishing. Honorable Muzale was clear.
Yeah.
On the ground, you get an equipment at 1.5. That is higher. The consumption a day is 360 liters. We know the rate of repair. So please give us this information. Otherwise, this money should be added on this, so it shouldn't be 2.5. It's either 3 million or less. Please clarify on that.
Mr. Chair, KCCA has budget lines. You'll find a budget line for oils and other things and fuel. These are dry rates. These are dry rates which are here. They do not include fuel. So that's the information I wanted to give my colleague. This doesn't have fuel. This is dry rate.
Chair, may I be
And
allowed
this
to
one-
Mr. Chairman,
clarify?
it's information.
No. Let's hear.
To add on to the information I gave, that the hire includes, it is wet lease. It is wet lease. It also has operation and maintenance and insurance. Thank you.
But Chair, if we were to get the actual figures for this wet hire,
Kayondo, listen to the witness.
the wet hire cost is 3.7 billion, whereas purchasing reduces annualized cost to 2.5 billion after considering depreciation, fuel, and maintenance. Annualized purchase cost, including fuel, operation, maintenance, and depreciation, is 2.5 billion. So the initial capital outlay is 4.2 billion. So still, we did this assessment and calculation. If you went into purchase, you would reduce the cost by 32%. That is the assessment that was made.
Do you mean this is information that was availed both to the Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance?
Chair, they have this information, including the problems associated with the hire before the Chiteze debacle. Mr. Chairman, I wrote personally to the Prime Minister, and this information was forwarded to the Prime Minister, and how Nippon has made a kill out of this hire business. Because you're asking which company, I was talking about Mantra. Nippon enjoys monopoly there. Right from inception, when Chitez was removed from Otada, Otada was the one managing it before, the former MP. Now, when it came back to KCCA, we decided to hire Nippon equipment. Nippon has been enjoying a monopoly all through. So the entire budget almost has been going to Nippon. Yet when you go to Chitez, and we wanted an audit to be conducted, if indeed there was any serious maintenance, the justification given for hire is that maintenance is rather expensive on our side. And also protection of our equipment is problematic. I have an audit report here.
How problematic is it? What do you mean by protection?
Yes, I'll tell you this, Chair. I have the Auditor General report of 2011-2012, which was assessed by processed by our internal public accounts committee, and they have presented the latest report, 2025, January 2025. They indicated that our web bridge at Chitez was stolen by KCC officials and taken to and took it to Rwanda.
To Rwanda?
They stole it and took it to Rwanda. This is Auditor General and Public Accounts Committee. I have the report here. We have had occasion to discuss it internally with the ED and the entire team. We even had a retreat on this audit report. We went to Entebe and said, can we take action to fight against this kind of thuggery?
Mr. Chairman,
the officials took the web bridge.
Clarification.
They took it to Rwanda and sold it to Rwanda. Yes?
Clarification.
They are known. Those who
Mr.
stole
Chairman,
it.
clarification.
So the problem with the hire, the problem with the purchase, again, is the protection. You will purchase and the equipment will be sold. Like this web bridge was sold by KCC officials to Rwanda. How they even crossed the border and took the web
Mr. Chairman,
bridge.
clarification. Clarification.
No, it was...
The originator of the budget of the authority should be the authority where the road mayor is the chairperson. So, what is the role of the authority, the council, to the budget? And what did they recommend? Did they recommend higher or purchase? That we want those evidence from the council to see if someone worked contrary to what council the authority decided. That's one. You have talked about safety. Can we get a police reference report? You have, at any time it came to your knowledge, you are accountable. You should have reported to police.
Yeah,
so the final point, Mr. Chairman, is that the cost of hire depends on when you repay. If you hire and you are going to pay in the first quarter, it's different from when you are not going to pay within 6 months. So that one.
I think on the last one, either way it is balanced by the fact that you can buy on higher purchase terms. But just listen to this, the report that has been given to me, that in the year 2011-2012, Auditor General's report, 2 way bridges were stolen by KCC officials from the garbage collection site at Chitez and sold in Rwanda. A memorandum which was received by the CPAC dated 26th with an old and dysfunctional way bridge. To date, there is no functional way bridge to measure the quantities of garbage delivered at the landfill. Contained in this memorandum was also a recommendation that the Office of ED and Police work hand in hand with the former Assistant Town Clerk, KCC, Kawempe, to lead to the perpetrators who sold the way bridges. However, this matter has since stalled and currently no efforts are going on to recover these way bridges. Recommendation: the Executive Director through the Legal Department should direct KCCA CID to follow up this matter and apprehend those involved in the scam for purposes of recovering the way bridges. Mwadanku nyingi
the fuel actual expenditure. Now,
first, let's admit the document named copy named the Kampala Capital City report of the Kampala Capital City Public Accounts Committee dated or issued in January 2025, which is admitted on accordingly on our record. And technical, please, you need to go through this and process it.
Thank you, Chair. Now, Chair, my principal concern is that whereas we are looking at the figures and the cost of hiring, to which I agree that the best approach will be to procure. But alleging that this is an expenditure on Uchitezi landfill, when for the several times I've personally visited the landfill, when it was operational, even at the tragedy, KCCA had no machinery. We need to interrogate. There would be hiring agreements, how these machineries were hired, how they were deployed, because they are saying Uchitezi, yet on the ground there was no machinery, even at the time of the tragedy. We need to interrogate, were they only paying, but these machineries were not actually deployed? Because we have questions on the ground, whether these machineries were deployed on the ground. When it comes to the stealing and the thuggery of government property, I think, Mr. Chair, using your powers, we can even arrest some of the thieves now. Because the Lord Mayor is saying the names are known, and they are officers of KCCA. Would the Lord Mayor give us the names? And Chair, since the report has been admitted,
Can you show me the thieves now?
the Lord Mayor said the names are known. So the Lord Mayor could assist the committee with the names. Chair, you make an appropriate ruling. But Chair, principally,
I will make a ruling.
Principally, the deployment of this machinery on the ground must be interrogated. They may be paying machinery which are not brought on the ground. At least for Uchitezi landfill, even when a tragedy befell, there would be slide. All rescue machinery was brought from outside, Uganda Police and other agencies. Where is this machinery as alleged?
Maybe Lord Mayor, who did you hand over the weighbridge to? The weighbridge?
Well,
Bridges, there were two.
There were two.
Who did you hand them
No, they
over?
were installed at Uchitezi.
Yes.
When there was that
Procedure, Mr.
transition
Chairman.
from Otada
Yes.
to KCCA now managing it directly.
Yes.
And during that process, those officials got those web bridges. And
Now, who are the officials?
you see, Chair, that's why I made reference to the law. And in the initial proceedings here indicated, under section 58, subsection 10 of KCCA Act, the executive director and I are mandated to implement the recommendation of the Auditor General
Yes.
and the Public Accounts Committee. So
Yeah.
when we went to Entebe to go through this, we noted Entebe, clause by clause. We looked at the recommendation there. It was very clear that the director legal should work with the DPP. No,
Police CID.
with the police CID and cause the arrest. Now the director legal is here.
Procedure, Mr. Chairman.
And Chair, we have
Procedure.
police.
Procedure, Honorable.
Procedure, Mr. Chairman.
Procedure, Kwizera.
The Chairman,
Procedure.
and we'll help this committee. Wouldn't it be right, Mr. Chairman, for the road mayor to be put on oath? And during the presentation, he makes fresh submission and indicates, even mentions the people who he knows that took the weighbridge and sold to Rwanda.
Information.
Because this information is very important for
Information.
police. I thank you.
Chair was offering it has been admitted by the committee.
Yes.
So we can ably refer to it.
We will read the report. The information is giving us even when it...
Chasing because they are going to be stealing, isn't it? No, wait. And then you are saying, you know, the people of KCC who stole and took to Rwanda. Oh, wait. To me, without even wasting time, why don't you mention the names so that we finish that one and we deal with another area? We're just rotating around the names. The KCC, are they still there or they left? Mention the names. If it's the legal department which we are referring to, then after mentioning the names, we shall ask the legal officer, where are your colleagues? How far did you go?
Okay. Lord Mayor, would you answer that?
Restrict myself to the mandate I have under the KCC Act, section 58, subsection 10, to implement the resolution
Okay.
the recommendation of the public account.
Director Legal,
Yes.
you were given instructions to work with the CID to cause.
Honorable Chairman, it's true that during the, I think it was last year in the strategic planning retreat, when we were making reflections on where we've been and where we're going, the Lord Mayor raised this issue, that 13 years ago, way bridges were stolen from Kitezi, and that there was an allegation that some of our staff then sold them, and the CID had been asked to do that investigation. Yeah, 13 years ago. So
about 2012.
Yeah, it's 13 years ago. So when he informed us of that, I committed to ask our current CID team to dig it up and give a report to management. This happened a few months ago. It was when we had the retreat. So this investigation is ongoing, but we can follow up and find out how far it has gone. But for now, I don't have any latest update on that.
If you mark the words you have...
CID was informed. So CID has not yet updated us.
Can you share with us a reference and the instructions to CID?
We have got a CID unit attached to KCCA.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Can you give us evidence of that instruction?
Okay, we'll do that.
Was it verbal?
We called for a meeting and had a conversation, but it was recorded in minutes of the meeting.
Let's have that by close of business today. I had Honorable Mzale.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the reports are out in 2025. The PAC report. So, the CPAC report. So, Mr. Chair, I need to be perhaps helped to understand. What was the reason of failure to identify the problem there and then, where we have so many departments responsible for management?
Proceed, Honorable Mzale.
Mr. Chairman, my concern is one. The incident happens in 2012. It's being reported on 2025. I just want to understand what happened in there, because we have the internal auditors system, we have the one who was responsible
actually,
for that.
To supplement yours for contextualization, the report manages to even identify where the way bridges were sold. That would call for intervention of even Interpol.
Mr.
Because
Chairman,
wait,
there I need some clarification. There.
And by the way,
when was
the way bridges went through your constituency.
Well, but when was it noticed? When was it noticed that it is missing?
You see, the problem we are dealing with, why it's bigger and more complex, is that this was identified by the auditors. Was it auditors? First, it was identified by the auditors, by the Auditor General. Then it CID interfacing with the auditors to give them part of the information they received. How they even came to identify where the way bridges were sold. CID, working with ESO and Interpol, would even go and identify where the way bridges are, and would even get to know who actually sold them. It is also a matter that involves foreign relations, that you have your property stolen and found in another jurisdiction, in a neighboring jurisdiction. Now, we do not even know whether where they were sold is a facility managed by the government or by a private player like ours here. I think it is bigger than that. Frank Rusha, would you call your CID officer who is handling this matter now? We will give you a minute to excuse yourself. Call that CID officer or the head to come here now. Wait. Not on this. Please do that. Honorable Itungo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You can still be summoned to account. And Mr. Chairman, Article 9 of the Constitution and our rules of procedure gives us power as a committee to summon any person. So, Chair, why don't we trace who was the accounting officer to come and account? As you summoned the CIDs, who was the accounting officer by then, and why didn't the person come and account for that query, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chair, I think to be helped to explain more, because they'll be able to tell us how they got to know the problem, and I'm very sure they have the names. If they were able to know that the equipments crossed the border from Uganda to
I think
Uganda.
internally we are going to identify the auditors. Don't forget that the Auditor General is our staff. We will get there. You know, what is disturbing, first of all, is we want to know in which audits
there were fights against the constitution of the CPAC. At least since 2011, I've been around and I've been struggling to have CPAC in place. Finally, it is in place. But that time there was no CPAC.
So it is dealing with the backlog.
Exactly.
Who was the accounting officer at the time?
Impeachment.
No, but there was an accounting officer.
The accounting officer was Jennifer Semakula Musisi.
Good. Okay. I think before we even zero on whether to request the presence of the accounting officer, report in issue, we would invite, therefore, Madam Jennifer Semakula Musisi, who was the director in charge of Chitezi, where the thing was lost. Because there was a director, she was the executive director. There was also a responsible director for the docket. Yes. During those days, for those who can remember, we can still find out. It's not a difficult thing to know.
Mr. Chairman, some clarification.
Yes, clarification.
Mr. Chairman, we are dealing with something.
Yes.
We would suspend this business because it is one of them. It is something that took place in the previous audit reports. So that we now have it, the whole of it, because 5 out of 14 were not implemented. That could have been one of them. Because if we now handle one piecemeal, we shall not get
yes, but supposing the Treasury Memorandum does not include this.
So this is where the Lord Mayor should give us a copy of the Treasury Memorandum.
A Treasury Memorandum from the Lord Mayor?
Yeah, because you see the Lord Mayor works with the minister, who is the policy manager.
No, it doesn't work that way. Treasury Memorandum is actually a responsibility of the Ministry of Finance.
Okay, but yes. You know the Lord Mayor is a politician.
Yes, but is a politician.
Yes.
You see,
for us to address this thing conclusively and effectively,
actually,
we need a copy of the Treasury Memorandum.
Honorable Kwizera, the Treasury Memorandum is a property of Parliament because it is given to us and is audited or is scrutinized by ourselves.
With your wisdom,
yeah, you're not lying.
You direct the clerk to avail to this committee Treasury Memorandum of this entity.
It is so done. Honorable Nkunyinji, but before that, Honorable Kwizera, when you look at page 35...
Fully implemented and not implemented. The Auditor General should furnish this committee with those. And we find out, we convince ourselves that that is not one of them.
No. I want to make the context clear. That even if they gave you that very one that they are talking about here, which is very easy, and they can provide it.
As we wait for the CID,
Of course, we are moving.
I want to interrogate another critical aspect under 1.6. I read from the report that the department 1.61 that I observed. I'm reading from the response, but it's part of the Auditor General's report.
Yes.
That I also observed that the unit lacked adequate staff, since the structure allows only 13 staff, including 5 divisions, but only 2 staff are substantive. Only 2 staff are substantive, the manager of solid waste and environment management, and 1 officer of solid waste. Now,
that one is catered for in 1.4. And we said we shall deal with 1.6, 1.5, and 1.4. So it is already, it is a substantive issue.
Chair, my inquiry at this point was, because I see cases with a lot of Chiboko squad, enforcement officers, among others. And I wanted to interrogate, one of their would be...
I don't think in the structure of cases here there is Chiboko squad, but I know there are enforcement officers who may behave Chiboko-ish.
Those who beat Batembe. Now, but whenever we see the ED, she has a lot of bodyguards. Now, we want to interrogate the structure. The structure.
ED go on record, because the shaking of the head will not be recorded, and you seem to be protesting that.
I have a lot of bodyguards.
How many do you have?
Bodyguards, I have 1.
Only 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you say I don't have a lot, someone will assume you have a number.
We see on TV.
Is it a man or a woman?
Chair, because they have to take leave, they alternate. I have a man and a woman.
Okay.
Now they have become 2 until they become many. Now,
okay.
But Chair, my concern was,
yes,
could we look at a record of the approved this staff structure?
Okay.
Let's interrogate that structure. 2, who approves it? Because you cannot talk
public service.
And in the process of approval, we believe there is a role and input of KCCA in recommendation.
It is in submission and recommendation of the staffing structure.
Because before we talk about the funding, we must interrogate the structure.
Honorable Kunyinji Mwada, once the structure has been approved by public service, we have no role. It is a technical matter.
Now, Chair, we are dealing with a situation where there is no one to supervise. Machineries are stolen up and taken up to Rwanda. No one can account for the record and chronology. We must interrogate issues of staffing, especially in this technical.
Would you therefore wait that we reach that point, which is 1.4? What is the concern?
Me just interested in knowing. One, first of all, the fact that the gadget was stolen.
Gadgets, sir, because there were 2.
Okay, the gadgets were stolen, which we are using to know the quantities of waste that is being dropped daily or monthly or something. What I want to know is as to whether, as of today, we have records relating to quantities that we drop daily.
Okay. ED and your deputy, you need to listen to that question.
Chair, the fact that the gadgets were stolen, the way bridge. Okay.
Yes.
Now, this Mnyankole man is thinking we are in Kasha.
I have no evidence here he's a Mnyankole. I know he's a member of parliament.
So, Mr. Chairman,
yes.
What I'm trying to understand, the way bridge were stolen. Right now,
does the report say they brought dysfunctional ones? They removed the new ones
and they installed the non-function one. Now, Mr. Chairman, what I'm interested, do we have a way of determining the quantities that we drop daily?
Okay.
In terms of garbage? Because now we have non-functional way bridges.
Okay. Procedure?
What do we use to determine?
Procedure,
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The point of procedure, Mr. Chairman, I would like to raise is that And we are taking too much time on the same issue that the road mayor has just raised.
How much
13
time,
years ago.
How much
It
time
is
do you
not
think
even,
we should have allocated to it?
I wouldn't even allow to be allocated the time, Mr. Chairman, because it cannot form part of our report.
Order, Mr. Chairman.
We are looking at the Auditor General's report for the last 1 year.
Order, Mr.
You
Chairman.
know,
And we are talking about the issue. that
Honorable
happened 13
Nangoli
years
comes
ago.
from a clan. God,
Mr. Chairman,
and the maternal side is Mamuliachi.
Bamulia Mamaso.
Nyama. Honorable Nangoli, it is a very, very important issue that involves taxpayers' money, but also that deal that relates to integrity in serving our people. It's a very, very important issue.
Information.
Yes, you want to inform us?
Yeah, on this particular issue, the current at exorbitant cost. And internally, we are grappling with the issue. Should we continue hiring or we purchase our own? So we are raising concerns we are having that purchase
of CID, ACP Mugwesaje, and he has informed me that it's out of jurisdiction. He has gone on official duty, but he has committed to making an appearance here next time he's summoned to give this honorable committee an update of.
We shall have a report next week from Mr. Mugwesaje. For now, Mugwesaje will come here. Of course, the question Honorable Chiwanuka is asked in the discussion in a meeting, CID picked up. CID ordinarily should have, upon picking it up, should have provided a reference and known who some of those are gaps.
The head legal looks scared, very scared. He should reveal to us if...
You do not need to defend yourself, Frank Rusa. Can we move to the next? I am giving final guidance on this so that we move to the next. 1, clerk of 2011-2012. Number 2, to dig up the records of Cosase, if it was discussed. Number 3, on our own, to instruct our CID. Where are they? Yes, CID, to take up the matter in liaison with Frank Rusa, with the CID of KCCA, to give us a report by Tuesday on how far they have moved. Okay? Then, Mr. Rusa, you have this. Who told you you can eat before you work? Okay, you may access.
I told you, Chair, he's looking for fresh air.
Okay. St. Paul said, before you work, forget about eating. Frank, what you do, you're going to work with our CIDs in processing that report to be brought here on Tuesday. Among the terms, you must establish who the accounting officer was, who the director health and environment was, who was in charge of Chitezi. Look at the handover between Otada and the KCCA, or KCCA, yes, KCCA. Then the handover between the KCCA and the Nippon. What was handed over? ED, you need to facilitate that process, not in terms of money, but provision of documents. Okay, let's go to 1.62, management of waste by KCCA. Sorry, 2015, at 5 billion as an alternative dumping site. The community in Dundu resisted the relocation of the dumping site, which left the land idle and prone to encroachment. Funding for disaster response. Following the 2024 disaster, government released 4.92 billion to KCCA in October 24 to support interim operations at Kakiiko and Nkumba dumping sites, including stabilizing Chitezi slopes. Consequently, KCCA was requested to open an account, KCCA Contingency Fund, in Bank of Uganda. By the time of the audit, December 24, which was 4 months after the disaster. The funds had not yet been utilized and were still on the KCCA contingency account number, that one, in Bank of Uganda. Management of waste in Kampala. Following the Kitezi disaster, KCCA relocated waste dumping to Katabi, Nkumba, and Kakiiko temporarily dumping sites in Entebe and Mukono municipalities, respectively. However, these sites lack the capacity to receive the volume of waste collected from Kampala and the greater Kampala metropolitan area. This has led to an environmental accumulation of backlog of collection of waste in the city, which poses health and environmental risks to citizens. I think this will give us a status, partly which we have, but also the decommissioning process, how you left those two places, Kakiiko and Nkumba. Did you just walk away? Disaster preparedness by KCC. I noted that KCC does not have a functional disaster management committee to cope with and manage disasters such as the collapse of the Kitezi landfill, among others. I further noted that no training has been given to empower KCC staff to respond to disasters in Kampala. This may limit risk assessment, identification, and response, which increase the risk of disasters and their associated effects, such as loss of property and lives. Explanation of the accounting officer was that waste dumping operations were relocated to Nkumba and Kakiiko for continuity of the waste management services in the city, and the authority has since received contingency funds to address immediate needs to minimize the aftermath effects of lack of an adequate waste disposal facility. Part of the resources have been earmarked for the procurement of vacant land to serve the need for emergency waste disposal services in Kampala, in the city. Additionally, KCCA is in the final stages of contracting for the decommissioning, remediation, and repurposing of Kitezi landfill. There are quite a number of components in this complaint, in this purchase of land in Mukono. Lord Mayor, what do you intend to use this land for? You acquired it for 5 billion.
The intended chair, if it pleases you, to start with the policy issue on disaster risk management. I wanted to conclude on this issue of the disaster risk policy.
Yes.
Chair, the instruments are there, but now implementation has become a little problematic in that
Honorable Sibambi, I need everybody's attention.
The question of a budget line for the same is a clog in the way, on the way, because right now, Chair, personally I asked, where is the budget line for this? Unfortunately, the answers are not.
For the what?
For disaster response, generally speaking. And now management prepared the concept paper for the same. And if it pleases you again, Chair, I'd like to share it with you.
Yeah, share with us. Edgar?
You can see, Chair, it's a proposed concept note for operationalization of the city disaster.
The same is received accordingly, and please distribute to members.
Proposed concept note for operationalization of the state disaster risk policy committee and other disaster management committees at local level in the city. And now, Chair, the composition is there, but I'll just straight away take you to the problematic area on page 9. Source of funding. Lobby government during national planning and budgeting process to provide for disaster preparedness contingents fund. And now, how much was required according to management? Chair, you can go to page 12.
Yeah.
You can see page 12 there. Project cost. Constitution and operationalization of the disaster preparedness committee. It requires 13.3 million. And to date, Chair, that has not been provided because for me, I don't do the technical work. So that's where we are. As you can see, there are other components down, disaster risk management committees at a local level and so on and so forth, and the entire budget is there. But at the city level, that's what was required.
Have you looked at the national budget on disaster preparedness? Because if you're asking us for 8.9 billion, and we're already grappling with it at a national level.
The composition of the committee to council when we are still sitting under the COVID guidelines. It was constituted, and the only thing we managed was that small intervention that was given for COVID management, because there was that fund.
The question is, do you have?
The committee is there, but it's not operation as of now because of funds.
Okay. Yes, Edie.
Thank you.
Procedure?
Yeah, Chair, I'm seeing an intruder here. I don't know if he has introduced himself or is part of us.
Chair, my name is Balimwezo Ronald Nsubuga. I am the Member of Parliament representing Nakawa East constituency in Parliament of Uganda. I am the Shadow Minister for Kampala and Affairs, and I am equally the Chairperson for the Kampala City Roads Committee. And very soon I will pronounce my next end of action.
Okay.
But I'm taking on the city soon.
Now you know the intruder. Edie.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson picking chair, thank you. Starting from disaster management or risk management, as you've heard, we approved the multi-hazard risk vulnerability profile in June 2025 and the emergency response plan also in June 2025. We have started on implementation. We currently have the disaster management committees at the city authority and the divisions. We have also trained them on disaster management. We are only in the final process of finalizing constitution of the operationalization of the disaster committee at the political wing where I am a secretary. I'm also happy to report that we now have a functional risk management unit with a substantive officer manning it. And we are going into implementation of what we put in the plan. Although the funding is not adequate, but we have some funding from the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Affairs Urban Development Project, which we have used to develop these documents and also institutionalize those committees. Chair, on these other queries which you mentioned, particularly on the issue of Dundu, it is true we procured the 135 acres of land, but I would also like to draw your attention to the fact that Cabinet authorized us to procure 400 acres of land. So for Dundu, you are aware that, Chair, that we had community resistance which delayed the utilization of the Dundu site. And when we had the emergency in August, we could not wait, so we went ahead to procure this other land in Buyala. In total, together with Dundu, if it is to remain a waste management site, we would be having 365, but that will be agreed on if it is to continue being a waste management site. We have secured that land, Chair, by planting a fence of trees around it, and this financial year we would like to complete the planting of trees so that we are able to secure the boundary. On the funding which was given to
How
us.
far has the case gone? Because there is a case in court about that Dundu land. Do you have an update?
Director Legal.
Before, let's hear about the case in court.
Honorable Chairman, if you could just give me a short, I need to contact my people about it.
Okay. Honorable Kabulindi.
I'm just seeking clarification. In case they continue to resist, do you have an arrangement with the person who sold you the land to refund?
By the
Chitez is a landfill or a dumping site because landfills are designed. Landfills are designed. They have specifics that are standards. So I would like to.
Does Chitez have them?
No, and therefore it was.
Then why are you asking us?
It was.
If it doesn't have what it takes to be a landfill,
I am looking at the name.
not.
Then why do we call it a landfill?
Because it was named so. You are called Balimwezo, not Lubega, because you were named so.
Therefore, Chair, my proposal is that we should go standard, and therefore we should have a landfill that is designed and operational as such.
That's your recommendation. What's
the plan for that land?
What is the plan for Dundu?
Are you just planting trees and you are making a forest?
Trees are on the boundaries to secure.
What is the plan for the land?
Chair, you mentioned that there are still issues on that land. I have also mentioned that there is community resistance. There was community resistance, which we are trying to settle. So it is after settling all of that that we'll have.
Actually, the community resistance does not relate to ownership. It relates to the use of the land. That's all. Maybe to help Mr. Rusa, the case in Mukono has not been disposed of. And now that you relocated, I don't know why you still want to maintain that as part of your backlog. The moment you agree that you're not going to dump their garbage, the community resistance will cease, because the resistance related to the environmental issues connected with dumping. Once you say we are not going to dump, I don't think that case will remain there. Honorable Kayondo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is where his role comes in most. I don't know. I want to inquire whether he's always contacted when these purchases are proposed. If he's contacted, there are things I expect him to consider. Things to consider like the topography of the land. Because where you are supposed to fill, there is a specified topography that is supposed to be there. So I want to ask him, through you, Chair, and ED, and the manager, Solid Waste, did you put into consideration the topography of the land you're buying? 2, how are you considering the implementation of Class 1 and Class 2 landfill? Because I'm seeing we are just transferring Chitezi to another area.
To Buyala. Is it Buyala?
To Buyala and to Dundu. Because we know when you are making a landfill, there is always a Class 1 where we have the hazardous and non-hazardous, and then the Class 2. So I want specifically to the solid waste manager.
ED?
Are you putting this into consideration?
ED, please answer.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair,
in this very room.
Just a small. Fabian Pigi Turoga, who would you yoga Buyara? Tujabaroga.
Chairperson, in this very room, sometime you guided that we'll have a time when you will visit Buyala and see what we are doing there. As I said in the beginning, because we are now limited to 50 acres, we have not finished payment of land. We have not gone full blast into establishing a waste management and resource recovery facility. However, what we are doing there is in line with what a landfill would be. But I would like at that opportune moment when you decide to go and see what we are doing there, you'll be able to see what we are doing in that limited space and the plan which we have for the bigger space. Then there was a request for my solid waste manager to say something. Please, particularly on Dundu.
That is if you deem it fit, because they are your people. You deploy your forces the way you want.
Okay, Chair, we had multi-institutional consultations on that land. And one of the things which delayed consensus was the issue of the shape of the land which we wanted. So in the record I have, photography, shape, buffer zone, and all those things were taken into consideration. For Dundu,
there is no substantive question apart from what do you intend to use it for? Okay. Do you have a plan?
For Dundu, Chair, the original plan was west and we had resistance. I will request that you allow us.
Actually, there is a bar from Parliament not to proceed.
You allow us to go back and build consensus on the next move on Dundu.
Okay. Makes sense. No, it's not really.
My concern is on Chitezi. The ED and the report of KCCA appears to only focus on saying we are in final stages of contracting for decommissioning. I want to agree at that level. Probably that's where you are. But the waste is still available at Chitezi. The landfill covering over 35 acres still exists with the garbage. The risks are still there. I also want to hear the current management arrangement. Because there is already waste, there's already garbage, and it's at risk. But you appear to only talk about it as an issue of the past. But to me, it still exists. Let's also understand the current management arrangement. Apart from the decommissioning, what if you contract up to next year or the other year? What about today?
Yeah, there is an element of repurposing from what they are saying.
Thank you.
Honorable Chiwanuka.
Thank you, Chair. And to echo on that one, may the ED tell us about, we heard about the investor who was meant to deal with that land. Can she give us an investor from Ghana, I think.
To deal with which land?
Chitezi.
Okay.
Chitezi. How far and what specifically is that investor going to do?
Information? Chair, to inform my neighbor of what I've seen on the ground. KCC has paraded since UN Habitat as one investor or entity they are going to engage on the ground. They have also at one time paraded a Ghanaian, a minister came with a Ghanaian and threatened to evict all neighboring houses. So just to give
Did you want to say Ghanaian?
Something like that. Okay. The minister wasn't clear. One minister called Chofa paraded an individual. We don't know the exact.
He's called the Honorable Chofa Toize Kabuye, not a one minister called Chofa.
Madam Chair, he annoyed my people because he threatened them. So we don't have
kindly don't him. Carry anger.
Chair, until our people can't be recovered. So
yes,
that will go hand in hand with how far they have gone with the compensation of those people who were affected, because some of them.
What is your question on compensation?
We want to know how far.
Raise it as a substantive question.
We want to know how far you have gone with the compensation of the people who lost their land in the circumstances, because some of them, there were some proposals to be transferred to Dundu land, which is purely a residential area. 3.
Information on that. Some more information on that. Chairman, KCCA since came on the land with the government valuer, they did evaluation, but the people have not been compensated up to now. So it is related to the question of compensation.
So the question is compensation for the land lost, houses lost. Would you also consider lives?
Lastly, Honorable Chair.
Lives? Yes.
Lastly, Honorable Chair, we have heard about these people who have been contracted. People failed in their bids quite some time. What are the timelines? Because we are building another
bids
Chitezi,
for
people who are going to be processing the waste
for in
Buyala. What are the timelines? Because year after year, day after day, month after month, we are building another Chitezi that side. What are the timelines to get these people? We know many of them who are ready to go into.
How do you know them, Honorable Chiwanuka?
I'm part of the people who filed.
No, order. You chase KCC from your constituency and you are sending to Mawokota.
But I'm helping you.
No, don't say.
I'm helping you for processing the waste. Honorable Chiwanuka.
Honorable Chiwanuka.
And about
colleagues, let's hear our honorable member.
I'm still concerned about Chitezi.
Yes.
Chair, I don't know if you can allow me to go to 1.64.
Yes, cracks?
Yeah. 1.64, where they have reviewed notable cracks in various landfill spots. And I looked at what the accounting officer was responding by saying the accounting officer explained that a service provider had been identified to decommission and repurpose landfill has been identified. There was no competitive bidding, no what, and good enough when it came to sourcing for monies from finance, there you are trapped. They are saying, no, you should do enough competitive bidding for others to take place before you look for monies. Now my question is that the way you have been handling issues? That such an important issue, you just identify somebody and somebody comes and say, I will fill those cracks, and you look for money? Won't we be doing the same problem, creating another problem of that nature? And after even succeeding getting this, getting that advice from KCC, who are those ones who bid it and who qualified? And then you proceeded to look for the money with the partnership of another UN habitant of $1 million US. Can you tell us how far you have gone with that?
Okay. Honorable Alan Swanyan, Alan Mayanja, Deputy Chair.
Chair, thank you. That is 1.6.4 cracks within the landfill. That is Chitezi. The Solicitor General raised some issues pertaining to the cost implications proposed under the Chitezi decommissioning project. We need to know what are these issues which were raised, and the evidence, the correspondences between KCCA and the Solicitor General. We need the evidence of the correspondences pertaining to that. And related, still on Chitezi, Chair, when you look at the list, which
I think the ED will be answering 1.163 and 1.164 together.
Yes.
They are related.
Chair, when you look at the response, specifically on funding for disaster response utilization, the ED and Lord Mayor, they are providing the list how they utilized the 4.92 billion, which was released by government during the Chitezi disaster. When you look at the table item and amount, part payment on Buyala land that we have considered, Kakiiko dump site. My concern, it is on Chitezi livelihood restoration package of 145 million, we need to know, we need the list of these people who were compensated or were given the package. And specifically, I want to understand, is it the package of the 2 million per person? If it's the one, we need the list of this. And we look at the meals for rescue team at Chitezi, it was 109 million. We still need the list of those people who are given this money, the meals for rescue. And lastly, on hire of toilets for camp for affected persons. We need to understand who were, for how long, how was it conducted, so that we can get the details of how these resources were utilized. Thank you, Chair.
Muzale.
Item by item, you'll discover where the mess lies, if I can supply this to the committee. Chair, this is a document dated 12th September 2024. This is, no, just one copy, one document. Different copies, yes, Chair. But I had requested for more.
Alan Maja Sibunyomba Kana Kasike Central. Olwaleero bw'otunuulira ettaka ly'ebuyala mu Mpigi. Mujjukire bulungi baava eddundu ng'abantu b'eddundu bagambye ffe tubagobye. Then ne baddukira ebuyala. Naye ettaka ly'ebuyala yiikaazi 203 baaza akwayalinga oba baazigula ku billions 16 mu miliyoni 10. Ne basasulako billioni 2 kyokka ettaka eryo liriko enkayana olwaleero. Kitegeeza bw'ogenda okulaba nti buli yiika bagigula miliyoni 7. Kati twagala purchase agreements, endagaano zonna kwe bagulira ettaka eryo. Ekyokubiri twagala agreements zonna kubanga kakati olwaleero ettaka liriko enkayana, liriko court cases. Kakati twebuuza bino byonna tewaaliwo kusooka kola assessment. So tusabye assessment ezaakolebwa ze bagamba nti bengejinga buli department. Tusabye report eyo eraga assessment oba waaliwo due diligence. So nga Kakiiko tuli interested mu agreements mu kugula ettaka eryo. Ekyokubiri assessment report ezaakolebwa okukola due diligence mu ttaka eryo emivuyo gyajjirawa bwe baba nga ddala bakola due diligence ku ttaka eryo. Kyewuunyisa nti mwaka gwa 2011 mwaka gwa 2012 Auditor General yakola report, Auditor General, nti ekyamazima ebyuma ebipima kasasiro mu Ekiteezi byatwalibwa e Rwanda wabula ate ne bakolawo replacement ey'ebyuma ebitakola. So ensonga kakati y'ensonga lwaki olaba nti bo baayiwangayo buyiyi ku nkomerero laba olwaleero ekyavaamu bantu baffe kufa. Kakati olwaleero twebuuza kubanga abantu abo balina okukwatibwa abakesisi officials CID yebakira ku mulimu eyaweebwa obuvunaanyizibwa obwo. Y'ensonga lwaki tuyise CID eyaweebwa obuvunaanyizibwa obwo. Ekirala ne Musisi, Jennifer Musisi eyaliwo ekiseera ekyo ng'akakiiko tumusamonize ajje atunnyonnyole baali baani ba officers, director kye yali avunaanyizibwa era byuma byatuuka bityo okubeera ne bamanya nti byagenda e Rwanda ne batabaako kye bakola. So ng'akakiiko kubanga bino byonna biviirako oba oli Bannayuganda ensimbi zaabwe ez'omuwi w'omusolo okufa nabo bennyini okufiirwa obulamu. Bw'otunulira olwaleero obuzibu obwagwa Ekiteezi mu 2024 tulaba bulungi nga gavumenti waayo 4.9 billion. Naye bw'otunuulira enkozesa gye bakozesaamu ssente, simanya kugula byakulya, simanya compensating abantu, tubabuuza muno mwe mwali miliyoni 2 naye tebanyega. Kuba kakati olwaleero bw'otunuulira cracks zikyaliwo, abantu bakyaliwo, naye owulira decommissioning process etwala ekiseera kiwanvu. Kwegangola waliwo abantu abatali serious abalabika nga abakesisi abatwala ekibuga abeebakidde ku mulimu. So yensonga lwaki tubabuuza Solicitor General waba ya raisinga zino issues lwaki temwanzikolako mu budde. Abantu olwaleero bakyabanja sente mpitirivu tebasasulwanga just okubayo miliyoni 2 abantu ne badde eri bo ne batandika okukaaba naye nga bo KCCA officials bo bazinze mikono. Yensonga lwaki nga akakiiko tuli interested mweno mata era tetugenda kugivaako kutuusa nga enogeddwa eddagala.
Nezo sente zentuufu okugula ettaka eryo kakati obuzibu obuliwo nti KCCA egula ettaka nga tesoose kuraba ettaka lino linaakola oba tirikole. Era bwe buzibu obwasooka ku ttaka ery'emukono erya Ddundu nti baagula ettaka nga bwe bateekako ebintu kasasiro bijja bazoonoona. Ekyokubiri bw'oba ng'ogenda kugula ettaka olina okukola due diligence ng'okozesa ebitongole byonna ebirina kuraba nti ettaka lyoguze ettuufu. Abanema even n'aba security even n'ab'amataka bennyini okumanya nti n'ettaka lijja kuabsorbinga kasasiro oba tujja kuabsorbinga. So kati obuzibu bw'etira KCCA bo baamala gagula ettaka ku ssente buwanana naye ng'ebyo byonna tebakoze ki tebabikoze. Kati tujja kusanga nti nga bwe twawudde ettaka ly'emukono mukono kati bagamba nti ettaka batandise okusimbamu emiti tebamanyi kyakukozesa ate nga balugula ssente buwanana. So bwe obuzibu buli ku ttaka KCCA eryegula nga temaze kuraba ettaka tugenda tukozesa ki ate nga teinvolvinze baani abalina abakugu balina ojjwa amagezi ku ttaka lyabagenda okukozesa.
Akakiiko kennyini tulabye muyita former ED Jennifer Musisi weighing bridges zino.
Kakati wobayiwa akasasiro waliwo okubeerawo minzaani emanya nti olunaku tuyako ebintu bwe biti ebintu bwe bisukka obungi nga tebina minzaani byo ebizibu byava ku kitezi nti ebintu byajjula kakati ne floodinga era ne bikozinga accident. Kati buli wobayiwa akasasiro walina okuba nga waliwo minzaani epima. Kakati amawulire agenda getufunye minzaani ezaali kitezi Auditor General's report ey'omwaka 2011 nti mashini ezo bazibba ne bazitwala ne bazitunda e Rwanda. Kakati ffe mu mateeka nga bakakiiko aka accountability tugamba nti ekintu kyonna ky'oba owadde ekitongole ne ssente omuntu gwe bayita accounting officer yalina okuba nga areceiving ebintu ebyo n'abikuuma n'abikozesa n'akola report n'agamba nti mwampa miliyoni 10 nkole kino na kino na kino mbikoze kati bino n'abanjulira. So kakati tugenza okusanga nti ebyo byomwe byabula mu biseera accounting officer wa KCCA yali ow'ekitiibwa Musisi abasinga gwe bamanyi. Kakati bw'aba nga ebintu byabula mu kiseera kye constitution article eya 164 egamba nti omuntu gw'awadde ssente za gavumenti n'oba nga avudde mu office agenze mujja kumuyita ajja annyonnyole essente yazikozesa ki. So kakati bano abali mu office bo bagamba ffe tutwali okubanga tugamba emyaka 13 egiwedde kati bano bagamba ffe tubimanyi titwabisangamu. So kakati amateeka gamba nti tulina okuyita eyali mu office ajja abitebye kubanga ye yalimu. So yensonga lwaki tugambye nti ow'ekitiibwa Jennifer Musisi akomewo ajja annyonnyole ebyuma byalagawa ate yakola kinga accounting officer.
Assalamu alaikum.
Cosase tuwulidde n'okukakasibwa nti aba KCCA baagula ettaka mu Mpigi e Buyala. Kino kibaawo nga bamaze bagoba emukono eddundu. Ffe kitweraliikiza abantu abagobeddwa emukono nti ebisaaniko bigenda kulwaza abantu n'okubatta ate ne babireetebwa ffe Mpigi nga ffe abakulembeze ab'ekitundu ekyo tetumanyi n'okolagana n'omuntu ettaka liba lya muntu naye nga liiko obukwakkulizo obw'abantu bonna community. Ndowooza ekigenda mu maaso kikyamu ffenna twandiyagadde ebisaaniiko bifuneko bwe bibeera naye mulina okutulaga mwabazze binaakola bitya kiki ekiyinza okubeera ku bantu kye bayita environmental impact assessment. Ffe nga abakulembeze ab'ekitundu kino tetugenda kukkiriza era nze oluva wano ripoota ya Cosase byeneewandiika oba parliament tujja kubizza eri abantu tutuule nga ab'Empigi ab'obuvunaanyizibwa tulabe nga tukuuma abantu baffe baleme kufa bulwadde.
English.
Yeah, I think we are disheartened